Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudriyat. Srinodam Swagata Krishna, Punya Shravana Kirtana, Hridente Shodhya Vadrani, Vidunoti Sursatam. Nаш добрейший Швабхадришу Нитьям Бхагавати Севая Bhagavati Uttam Shlokhe Bhaktir Bhavati Nishtike. We will be reading today Canto 4, Chapter 29, texts 51 and 52. Text 51. Savai Priyatamaschatma Yadona Bhayam Anvapi Iti Veda Savai Vidvam Yo Vidvan Saguru Hari. Synonyms: Saha, he, certainly, certainly, Priyatama, the most dear, Cha, also, Atma, super soul, Yatha, from whom, Na, never, Bhayam, fear, Anu, little, Api, even, Iti, thus, Veda, one who knows, Saha, he, by certainly, Vidva, educated, Yaha, he, who, Vidvan, educated, Saha, he, Guru, spiritual master, Hari, not different from the Lord. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. One who is engaged in devotional service has not the least fear in material existence. This is because the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the Super Soul and friend of everyone. One who knows this secret is actually educated, and one thus educated can become the spiritual master of the world. One who is an actually bona fide spiritual master, representative of Krishna, is not different from Krishna. Purport. Srila Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakura says, Sakshat Tharivena Samasta Shastra Uktas Tadha Pravyata Eva Sobha. The spiritual master is described in every scripture as the representative of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The spiritual master is accepted as identical with the Supreme Personality of Godhead because he is the most confidential servant of the Lord. Kintu prapur yaha priya eva tasya. The purport is that both the super soul and the individual soul are very dear to everyone. Everyone loves himself. And when he becomes more advanced, he loves the super soul also. A person who is self-realized does not recommend the worship of anyone but the super soul. He knows that to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead is easier than to worship various demigods under the influence of lust and the desire for material enjoyment. The devotee is, therefore, always engaged in loving devotional service of the Lord. Such a person is a true guru. In Padma Purana, it is said, Shat Karma Nipuna Vipro Manta Tantra Visharada Avaishnavo Gurur Nasyad Vaishnavasva Pacho Guruha. Even if a Brahmana is very learned in Vedic scriptures and knows the 6 occupational duties of a Brahmana, he cannot become a guru or spiritual master unless he is a devotee of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. However, if one is born in a family of dog eaters but is a pure devotee of the Lord, he can become a spiritual master. The conclusion is that one cannot become a spiritual master unless he is a pure devotee of the Lord. One who is a spiritual master in accordance with the above descriptions of devotional service is to be understood as the Supreme Personality of Godhead personally present. According to the words mentioned here, Guru Hari, consulting a bona fide spiritual master means consulting the Supreme Personality of Godhead personally. One should therefore take shelter of such a bona fide spiritual master. Success in life means accepting a spiritual master who knows Krishna as the only supreme beloved personality. One should worship such a confidential devotee of the Lord. Text 52. Nardo Vacha Prashna Evam Hi Sanchino Bhavata Purusha Shapam Atrame Vadato Guhyam Nishamaya Sanishchitam. Nardo Vacha, Narada said, Prashna questioned, Evam thus, he certainly. Sanchana answered, Bhavata yo Purusha Rishabha, or great personality. Atra here, me vidataha, as I am speaking. Guham confidential, Nishamayam here. Sanishitam perfectly ascertained. Translation. The great Saint Narada continued, O great personality, I have replied properly about all that you have asked me. Now hear another narration that is accepted by saintly persons and is very confidential. Purport. Sri Narada Muni is personally acting as the spiritual master of King Brahman. It was Narada Muni's intention that through his instructions, the king would immediately give up all engagement in fruitive activity and take to devotional service. However, although the king understood everything, he was still not prepared to give up his engagements. As the following verses will show, the king was contemplating sending for his sons who were away from home, executing austerities and penances. After their return, he would entrust his kingdom to them and then leave home. This is the position of most people. They accept a bona fide spiritual master and listen to him, but when the spiritual master indicates that they should leave home and fully engage in devotional service, they hesitate. The duty of the spiritual master is to instruct the disciple as long as he does not come to the understanding that this materialistic way of life, fruits of activity, is not at all beneficial. Actually, one should take to devotional service from the beginning of life, as Prahlad Maharaja advised, Kamara Achrit Prajnot Harmam Bhagavata Iham. Bhagavatam 7.6.1. According to all the instructions of the Vedas, we can understand that unless one takes to Krishna consciousness and devotional service, he is simply wasting his time engaging in the fruits of activities of material existence. Narada Muni therefore decided to relate another allegory to the king so that he might be induced to give up family life within material existence. End of purport. Om Gyanatimrandasya Nimanjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitamina Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimati Pada Swami Nityananda. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharanya Risha Shuniveda Pashti Deshtarni. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Veda Gadhar Shri Sadi Guru Bhakti. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. I humbly bow down and seek blessings from everyone who assembled today, and thank you for the opportunity to read Srimad Bhagavatam for my own purification. I selected a few points to summarize from lectures from senior devotees. We are reading Canto 4, Chapter 29, called Talks Between Narada and King Prachinapari, where Narada Muni is explaining the purport of the allegorical story of King Ranjana to convince the king Prachinapari to give up the ways of material life and fully engage in service of the Supreme Lord. In text 51, we have read that one who is engaged in devotional service has no fear in material existence. And in purport, Srila Prabhupada mentioned that success in life means accepting a spiritual master who knows Krishna as the only supreme beloved personality. That would be perfection in one's life. In the material world, we see so many species of life, and humans are considered very special because we see that whole life of animals is continuous struggle for existence. A bird is eating some grains, but after a few seconds, it cannot enjoy it fully or peacefully. It looks to the left and right out of fear. The bird is always alert, checking if someone is going to catch it or someone could snatch the food. So much anxiety day after day. Even going to drink some water in the river, a bird is looking around if there is any danger. The existence of animals full of fear. The human beings are given additional facilities like intelligence and the ability to discriminate, and these facilities should be used to get perfection in life, not to use all his energy to gratify his senses, forgetting the real purpose of life. Human being should use all his senses to achieve perfection in spiritual life, But some uncivilized people abuse what is given to them and degrade lower than some animals. We don't see animals endangering their own species normally. They are fearful of someone else. But people in society are fearing of other people, and they are afraid to lose much more than food. Some people can bomb each other. Some people are afraid to lose the prestige of fame more than to lose their life. Some people think with the technology we have such an advanced society. However, creating and using the guns or using different means for mass destructions is not advancement in society. A real advancement in society happens when one comes to understanding of the importance of the spiritual life. Only spiritual solutions can give happiness. Some people have a lot of knowledge. They speak about different philosophies, but many of them don't use the knowledge practically. They don't do what they teach. Some people are very austere, perform tapasya, go to Himalayas, meet sadhus who claim they are God. So much austerity, but the knowledge is useless. Some people want Krishna directly, but not Guru, and some people would not accept Krishna, they would accept only Guru. However, in order to get perfection in life, one has to accept the bona fide spiritual teacher and Krishna, learn scriptures, and follow Guru's instructions. In text 52, Narad Muni says that he told everything that king asked him, but Narad Muni saw that full effect was not taking place, and the king was not giving up the materialistic way of life. He was still thinking that there is more time. He wanted to wait for his children to come from austerities, then he will handle all kingdom to them, and after that he could give up the kingdom. Narada Muni, very merciful, and seeing that the king is not fully accepting the proper life, start telling another narration. To get the attention of the king, he says that it is very confidential. In our time of Kali, people are very addicted to the illusory material world. Srila Prabhupada was saying that everyone has daydream and night dream. During the night, one can see himself as a king. During the day, some people see themselves as kings. But both daydream and night dream are only dreams because, from the spiritual point of view, both dreams are far away from the truth that we are souls, servants of the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. The material world is already illusion, and during Kali Yuga, people want to enter into more illusion. By advancement of technology, people are getting separated from facts of material nature more and more. With the cars and airplanes, internet and TVs, people get more disconnection with the proper position of the soul. They think they are in control and in charge. People are dealing with unreality. They think they can create this and that, but they're in illusion. Like children play with one toy and then with another toy. People don't get satisfaction from material toys. They get easily bored, and any material excitement is temporary. Srila Prabhupada was telling when he was a boy, when he was going to the bank, the cashier would ask, do you want golden coins or silver coins or paper money? Now, one click of the button and the virtual money are going from one place to another. Some people don't need to touch the real money. The king, Prajbari, was entangled completely in material life, in illusory activities. Narada Muni, acting like spiritual master for the king, wanted to see that the king was fully delivered from the illusion, accepts the truth, and completely engages in serving the Supreme Lord. In any part of the world, there is working class. In any country, there are policemen, businessmen, and teachers. Similarly, Varnashrama system is scientifically describing human society. But people don't want to go through brahmachari training and go to grihastha ashram or vanaprastha ashram or sannyasa ashram. People want to enjoy all their life. People want to control their home, use material nature for fruitive activity. However, it will be better to give the time and money for the good cause, because anyway, everything will be taken away. Although some people can feel my children, my parents, children don't know how to do a job nicely, but they will learn. Sometimes people experience great shock in life, and after that, they take spiritual life more seriously. One of the best ways to advance in spiritual life is hearing and chanting the glories of the Supreme Lord, who controls all living entities in this world. Shravanam and Kirtanam especially recommended during Kali Yuga. By hearing and chanting the names of the Lord, one can be delivered. At any stage in life, people should engage in chanting and in hearing about Krishna's pastimes. I will stop here. I apologize for any shortcomings during reading and summarizing. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripasintu